Hello vinyl community, this is Randy. Welcome to my video. And this is a video that's in response to a thread started by Ron Haggerty from Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. And in that thread, he wanted us to show albums with no title on the cover. So unless you saw a picture and knew the person, or there was a hype sticker on there, you would not know the artist or the title of the record. And Ron's got a wonderful channel, Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Sanctuary. Big fan of metal, but he shows a lot of things. Anyway, so I thought I would jump in on this. And the first album I'm going to show is probably one of the most famous covers of any album. That's, of course, is the Beatles and Abbey Road, which on the back you will find the title of the album, and probably has the best closing suite of maybe any album ever, with Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, The End, and Her Majesty. But everybody knows this album. It's a great album. And the Apple label. But anyway, so that's my first entry. The second one is an album it took me a little while to get into, even though I'm a big fan of that artist. And of course, if you know the artist, you can tell by the picture whose album this is, and that's, of course, Bob Dylan. And the album is New Morning. This came out in 1970. Of course, the Beatles' Abbey Road was 1969, which I did not say. But If Not For You is just a wonderful, beautiful song off this one. If Dogs Run Free, there's another beautiful song. Time Passes Slowly. You know, all these songs took a while to really grow on me, but a wonderful album if you get enough listens, I think. And that's Bob Dylan's A New Morning from 1970, of course, on Columbia. Next one is an artist that I don't think gets his due as a solo artist. And you can probably tell by the cover, it's Art Garfunkel. And of course there's no title there. It's Angel Clare is the name of the album. And probably his best vocal performance is on Bridge Over Troubled Waters. But I think maybe the second best one is on All I Know, which is just beautiful, and one of the best vocal performances, I think, is Art Garfunkel's on All I Know. This is another album that's on Columbia as well. Next is an album by one of my favorite artists with no title. Of course, if you know the artist, you'll know that that's Elvis Costello. On the back, you see the title. It's King of America. This album came out in 1986, and it came out right after Goodbye Cruel World. A lot of people thought it was a return to form, although I really liked Goodbye Cruel World. I guess I'm one of the few. But it is a brilliant album. I Wear It Proudly is great. I love the ballad Indoor Fireworks, a very personal song. Brilliant Mistake is a great pop rock hit. So is America Without Tears. Really has some great melodies on here, which she usually does, and great lyrics. King of America, Elvis Costello. On Columbia as well. I think everything I'm doing is from Columbia. But wonderful album. No title. And the next one I'm going to show, no title as well. And this is from Prince and the Revolution. The title is on the side, which is Around the World in a Day. It's kind of a departure after Purple Rain, but Raspberry Beret is a beautiful song, one of his best catchy hits. Pop Life, kind of his thought on show business, but wonderful album by Prince, and I think it's very underrated as well, but Around the World in a Day. The next one, I don't know if anybody knows what this is. Yes, it's, and I guess you have to look on the side. It's Camper Van Beethoven. They're a self-titled album on Pitch a Tent Records. David Lowery was kind of the main man on Camper Van Beethoven. He later went on to form Cracker, but he has a lot more humor involved in this, like Joe Stalin's Cadillacs, Five Sticks that relates to Led Zeppelin. You also have a song called Stairway to Heaven, spelled differently. But what I would recommend, if you get on YouTube and look at the good guys and the bad guys, listen to that song to see if it's something that you would be into. Oh yeah, they also do a cover of Pink Floyd's Interstellar Overdrive. But unique group. This came out in 1986, and it's Camper Van Beethoven, self-titled album. And the next one is from 2018, a little earlier, and no title on the cover, and it's the Tune Yards. I Can Feel You Creep Into My Private Life is the name of the album. They're indie rock, I guess you would call them. The Tune Yards is Merrill Garbus. She uses a lot of, I don't know if I'd call her the female Tom Waits, but she likes to use a lot of different instruments, and her singing is all over the place. But this is a more restrained album. It's kind of a political album as well. She later got it with a bassist called Nate Brimmer, and they wrote all the songs on this album together. But kind of an interesting artist. This is not my favorite. I think it's called Who Kills, probably my favorite album by the Tune Yards, but maybe this one will grow on me. It's kind of got an individual label there, but no title on that one. And next is another one of my favorite artists. If you can recognize the picture, you know that's Nick Cave. And so it's Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. The Firstborn Is Dead, which this is his second album after the end of the Birthday Party. I would call this a little kind of punkish country blues with a little forlorn piano in there. Of course, he's used the piano on a lot of, I think some of his later things are a little more melodic than this is. I guess this has a little bit more of a punk attitude, I think. But still a fine album. The Firstborn Is Dead from Nick Cave. No title on the cover. And number 9 is a band from my youth, but I still kept their albums. And that's Styx. This is the album Pieces of 8. I guess it is on the spine. But this was an album that the big hits were actually Tommy Shaw compositions, Blue Collar Man, Renegade, and Sing for the Day. But they also go back to some of their progressive roots with some of the title song, which I think is a Dennis DeYoung song, and some of the other songs on here. A little more progressive, like their early days, like when they had The Serpent Was Rising and a few of those albums. But Styx, Pieces of 8. And last but not least, from 19 '78, which was the same year as Pieces of Eight. And that's the Talking Heads. And the name of the title of this is on the spine as well. More songs about buildings and food. Just kind of a offhand reference to not having enough material for your second album, because this was their second album, but on Sire Records. And they do they have the great version of the Al Green song "Take Me to the River," but this is the album where Brian Eno came on board and kind of helped to shape their sound. But more songs about building and food, the Talking Heads. And that is my entry into this thread. And hope everyone's doing fine. And thanks, Ron, for starting this.